there's a few other coffee shops around where we are, and we still seem to do it right. I think what sets us apart is the fact that we like people, which is really the number one thing in this game, but then also that we've tasted a lot of good coffees from a lot of other cafes, expanding your horizons, one might call it. And we know what we want to taste from the coffee. And like I was sort of alluding to before with the standards in like espresso making, it's like people will say 25 mils in 25 seconds or something similar. But really at the end of the day, whatever's in the cup and how it tastes is what makes a big difference. So some people say, you know, first taste is with your eyes, hence why we bother with latte art on the top of our drinks. I'll show you. So really, if you're not getting that in a cafe, you're probably not here. Or your barista doesn't have a cool hat, or a beard, or a fixie. That fixie joke might go over some people's heads, but... What's that? Well, I steam in a bigger jug. I mean, you could still do it just in this jug, but the first part of whenever you pour it, we free pour everything, so there's no like kind of scooping stuff out. We don't do etching on the top, like, you know, using a sharp implement or whatever to do patterns. But the first part you pour is thicker. It's just to do with how it sits in the jug after you've steamed it. So like, especially if you're just sitting there waiting for a shot for a little bit, it'll thicken up, and getting rid of that first bit, you won't get all that lumpiness in there. Ideally, your milk's just going to be the same texture all the way through, but the reality is that it never is. So nice and consistent there, kind of. If you have a look, spin around the board, over on the board here, we write out what's in our blend. We're quite happy to tell people what those coffees are. It's and it's just an even distribution of those three, so it's 33% of each. So the Ethiopian Harar, it's an FTO coffee. The East Timor as well, also an FBO. FBO, FB80, just making up acronyms now. And then we get in those different feature coffees. Another thing we'll do, we'll show you in a sec, a video doing a siphon coffee. This stuff that Ethiopian Sidamo Nikiso, we've got that from some friends down in Sydney. The Source, another espresso bar, they've roasted that and sent it to us. That coffee is a micro lot coffee, so it's comes from a really specific region, a specific farm, and get really traceable sort of coffees with that. You can tell where it's come from and the path that it's come through to get into your hands, which is cool. And that one's quite an expensive coffee, but yeah, we'll show you the siphon technique in a sec.